Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 49 of Speak on It. D, who has wore 49? You did the research this week. I did not.
Tremaine Edmonds. Shout out Tremaine Edmonds, fellow Hokie. Uh, he's now an incredible linebacker for the Buffalo Bills. He's probably doing probably having an incredible offseason, but he had an incredible regular season as well and an incredible postseason. So shout out to Tremaine Edmonds wearing 49 for the Buffalo Bills.
I'm your host, Danny Ocean, as always, joined by the smoothest man on the planet, Loasty Mix. How you living, baby?
Hey man, you already know. You see these waves. You see him. You see him. Look, when you see this Nas fade, it could only be one brother, the good brother Losty Mix. As always, I'm blessed to be here with you, my man, Danny Ocean. Hey man, it was a good weekend. Yo, first off, let me start off by saying this. I'm gonna start by getting something off my chest.
Okay.
Macy's, Macy's, you let the culture down, Macy's.
So what happened? I missed this. I did not
Yo,
see any.
I went into Macy's just shopping a little bit. Went into Macy's just looking to see what they got for brothers, just shirts and whatnot. Man, I went in there. I was so disappointed by the selection of clothes that Macy got. I'm walking in there. I'm walking around, man. It's the bottom barrel of clothes, of polos and whatnot. I'm looking around. I'm like, yo, why am I doing this to myself? This is embarrassing. I was like, nah, ain't no way. I was like, nah, Macy's got to have like a back. I'm looking for them to the back room where Macy's got the good stuff. And then I was just like, hey, have I graduated from the school of Macy's?
You have. You know when I stopped shopping at Macy's for real? When my
Talk to
mother started. My mother loves Macy's, and it's like, do I want to shop in the same stores that my mother spends all her Saturdays in? And I was like, ugh.
me.
It's like
Man.
every once in a while you can catch something at Macy's for the low or a good deal, but all in all, it's like no offense to Macy's, but
Do you put Dillard's in the same category as well?
Dillard's is more expensive, right? Like if you like if Macy's, I feel like Macy's, you go to Macy's if you're looking for a deal, but like if it's like I want a red polo shirt, I know I can go to Dillard's and get a red polo shirt because they're gonna have it.
So I should have went to Dillard's, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Dillard's is you're gonna pay full price. I don't think they have sales at Dillard's. Dillard's is like Nordstrom. You're gonna pay, but they're gonna have what you need, especially if you're looking for like
I dig Nordstrom.
you dig. I used to like Nordstrom. The one here in the city closed. I don't think there's a Nordstrom. Is there
Really?
one here in the city?
I don't. There might be. I'm not sure.
Anyone who lives in Richmond, tell us where Nordstrom is.
In the Richmond area, maybe near the Richmond area.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, as
yeah, but
always,
Macy's let the culture down. I left that Macy's and I was shaking my damn head. I was like, really, Macy's? So I got back in my car, man, and the entire time I was just laughing at myself because I was like, look at me thinking I was about to really get a nice shirt from damn Macy's. Shame on
yeah.
me.
So, what were you looking for
I,
specifically?
I was just looking for a good polo or two
Okay.
or three. I'm
Okay. I
trying
mean,
to
yeah.
step my
Sometimes
polo
Macy got
game
you.
up. As you can see, I've been rocking the more cozy hoodie gear, jacket gear as of late. So now I'm trying to make sure I keep my polo game up to par. So that way, when because I'm stepping in right now, but when I step out,
Right.
I'm trying to step out. You hear me?
I hear you, and I feel what you're saying. So I feel like sometimes you can catch Macy's. The thing about Macy's is every weekend they're having some sort of sale, right? Like every weekend, something bad happening at Macy's, and you getting it. This is a 1 day sale. This is
What bad
a.
things have you seen happen in Macy's, man?
I'm just saying, like, 1 day sale, St. Patrick's Day sale, Black History Month sale, MLK Junior Day sale, Christmas
Yo,
sale,
you
Easter
you catch
sale.
Macy's at like the Black History or the Juneteenth sale. Yo, you liable to see a fight.
Yes,
You know how people get, especially when they think they get a deal at the Macy's. People, all they doing is jacking the prices up to get the discount to the regular price.
that's
Come
it.
on,
Come on now.
They be
True
fighting
story.
up in Macy's though. I've been seeing some things go down up in the Macy's. So
No, not the one here in the
yeah,
city. Are you for
not the one here
real?
in the city, but
I was about to
I'm
say.
saying I've seen yo to all you little kleptos out here. I've seen them rent a cop mall cops in Macy's. They don't be playing.
True story. I was in Macy's one time with my wife. Like my dad is from a county that's maybe an hour and a half. Like my dad, he has a lot of friends.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and I really look nothing alike. He's like the short, petite man with a little afro. I'm a little bit taller, a little heavier,
Bald.
bald. And I kid you
Mm.
not, from across the store, this random man, my dad's name is James, he yelled, "Hey, little Jimmy." And he was talking to me. And I turned around and I was like, "Who the hell are you? And why are you calling me little Jimmy?"
Little Jimmy.
And I was, yo, it blew my mind. I was like, "How do you know me?" But that's things that happen in the country. People like, "Oh, you know me? I'm your daddy, such and such and such." That's the
Man,
worst.
I had a similar situation like that. I was out not too long ago, and a brother saw me and he said my name, and I thought he was talking to someone else. He walked up to me, said my name again. I was like, I was had the dumbstruck look. He said, "Man, I'm your cousin, man." I was like, "Oh yeah." Then I put his face into some recognition. Then I heard him for a second. I was like, "Yo, there's got to be another brother with the same name as me up in here."
Nope.
The world is a small place when you really think about it.
It's too small. I wish it were a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's do a
All right,
little housekeeping real quick before we get cracking.
of course,
For
talk to me.
those of us who follow goingfor2.com and Going for Two sponsors the show, you have 1 week left to take advantage of their $22 personal discount on your league podcast. So normally it's 110. Now it's $78. You'll get a custom podcast from the Going for Two family, ranking your leagues, doing everything. Just it's a really cool experience. What's his face? It's 650 for a 12-man league. Again, you have 1 week left. It ends on February 22nd. Head over goingfor2.com/league pod. Again, that's goingfor2.com/league pod for $22 off a personal podcast. D,
Days
what we
left,
talking about?
people.
7 days.
Seven
What we talking
days.
about
Yo,
tonight?
today, people, of course, we're gonna do a little recap of the Super Bowl. Shout out to the Rams. We're gonna look back on that. We're gonna talk about the Super Bowl MVP, Cooper Kupp, as well, of course, as the Super Bowl halftime show and what we thought about that one. Of course, we can't, as the title implies, we can't not talk about a little NBA because the NBA is always dramatic. So we're gonna talk about the NBA trade deadline that passed last week, specifically the James Harden trade, the James Harden Ben Simmons trade to be exact. So we'll get into that. Then we're gonna talk a little bit of Art Browse. Apparently, he's being considered for some coaching jobs. I heard there's a certain quarterback in Green Bay who's won his fourth MVP. But realm of football, let's go back to the big game.
Let's do it.
This week on Sunday, we saw it, the Super Bowl, the biggest football game in the world played. Bengals versus Rams came down to a close one. The LA Rams pulled out a very close one. Matthew Stafford, the Cooper Kupp win the game 23-20. Danny, what were your thoughts about the game and how it ultimately played out?
So I thoroughly enjoy the game. What's his face? Last week you and I spoke, and I said, whatever the sack line is, take the over because Aaron Donald is going to feast in that defensive line. And my
I do
God,
remember. Now you wasn't wrong on that one. It got
my
spooky for Joe.
God, that second
It was
half,
all in the second half, though. It was all in the
yeah,
second half.
it was all like the. I know Chris Collinsworth gets a lot of crap, and rightfully so, but the way he broke down how the Rams adjusted to what the Bengals are trying to do to double Aaron Donald, like using the center or whatever, like and then covering the center and like overloading one side so Aaron Donald gets one-on-ones. Like that was just a beautiful piece of commentary, and it kind of gave some insight to something that I was hoping to see, which was Aaron Donald getting the chance to dominate. And we're going to connect that later because I have a hot take on Aaron Donald.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I have, and I didn't discuss this with for the people. I didn't discuss this with D before the show because I wanted to see his reaction. But we need to start having a conversation about Jalen Ramsey getting cooked. Mike Evans cooked him. Jamar Chase got him. Now I know Chase
He
got
was
his
getting
face
cooked.
mask, but there's
All
a
the
still
cheese and all the
shot.
butter and the eggs.
There is a still shot of Jalen on the ground on that fourth down. Like
Oh,
if
I
Joe
saw it.
Burrow had 2 more seconds,
Oh, I saw it.
Chase was running down the sideline, butt naked, wide open, and that would have been the game-winning touchdown. Like I tweeted it, and some dude quoted me. He was like, "You need to stop talking like that about Jalen Reeves." Like I am just talking about what I see.
Now I saw that exact same image, and I was like, "Whew, buddy, good thing Sean McVay called his play with Aaron Donald because, to your point, had he had maybe half a second more, I mean,
That would have been a wrap. They'd have been a worst case scenario. They would have been in field goal range.
take game in the overtime, which I believe is maybe what they were playing for. But man, what a game! Like what a game! I love the piece of commentary that you mentioned as well about Chris Collinsworth and the adjustment that the Rams made to cover Aaron Donald, but. Man, what a game! The entire time, it was going back and forth in that early when the Bengals came out and scored that touchdown right after the half. I said, man, that could be a real game changer, and it ultimately was the kind of the game changer that the Rams need as kind of like a wake up call to ultimately start making the right adjustments, figure out a way to start getting points on the board, and then obviously with the game on the line, you saw Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. But man, was someone not wrong when they said take the over on the sack line? I was trying to find that prop on everything. Yo, man, it's very equivalent to what we saw last year in the Super Bowl with the Bucks and the Chiefs. You just see this defensive line just start taking over football games, and people. I mean, it is hard for quarterbacks when there's no defensive line. I mean, no offensive line blocking your defensive line. Like it is hard. And I mean, credit Joe for just sticking in there and making it keeping the Bengals as closely as they were, but man, this is wild. This is wild. But it was a great game. Shout out to the Rams. Shout out to the city of LA. It's big for them. Shout out to Odell. Hope he come
Shout out
back,
to Odell.
healthy. I don't know, what happened, but he went down with knee injuries. So shout out to Odell and Cooper Kupp. We're about to discuss you a little bit more, but shout out to Cooper Kupp, man. What a game. 2 tutties.
Yeah, Cooper. We're going to talk about Cooper Kupp later. Before we do move on to Cooper Kupp, I think this conversation of Matt Stafford now being somehow a Hall of Fame quarterback really needs to stop. Like y'all being a little reckless.
Let's just enjoy the moment of a Rams Super Bowl win before we start talking Hall of Famer, this, that, and the third. I'm happy for Matt Stafford. I'm happy for I'm happy for the city of LA. I'm happy for the Rams, and I'm happy that we can put the season to bed and we can get ready to see what the next season of the NFL holds in store for all 32 teams, especially team play in Wisconsin.
And in the NFC.
Yeah, the NFC is going to be different. We'll talk about our Super Bowl predictions later, but the NFC is going to be different. So, speaking of the game, Cooper Kupp in the Super Bowl won the Super Bowl MVP. He caught the game-winning touchdown. He also set, I don't know if you know, but he also set the record for most catches in a postseason, along with being second all time in catches in the season, I believe yards in the season, and I believe maybe touchdowns in the season as well. He might have been top 5 touchdowns. So he has the Triple Crown, Super Bowl MVP, the postseason crown, and catches. Do you think, QBs aside, is this the greatest offensive season we've ever seen?
I am trying not to be a prisoner of the moment, but I'm going to say yes. But in my personal opinion, as great as Cooper Kupp was this season, there's something about rookie Randy Moss and Randy Moss in New England. Like, to me, the fact that especially Randy Moss in New England, well, they had Hernandez and Gronk. Like, it's not like it was just him by himself, but like Randy Moss in New England was so dominant. Rookie
great.
Randy Moss, like the Thanksgiving Day game. Granted, that's one game, and Cooper Kupp was dominant over the course
Yo,
of
I
that
think
game.
that's still. I think that particular game, the Thanksgiving game, is against the Cowboys, right? I
Hmm.
think that's funny because like as like a DB's coach, you're just going back over to this guy to this corner. You're just telling this guy like guard him, like he's
Like,
on like every catch.
was a
He's going for
touchdown.
a touchdown.
What? Like, granted, again, and I think we need to throw in the fact that Cooper had an extra game in the regular season to do this. It doesn't take away from how great he was because he was absolutely stellar. And again, like this is like I think this is the greatest non-offensive quarterback season we've ever seen, but it's not. It's there are close seconds and thirds, and one of those being is Randy Moss in New England.
So I don't think this is one of the greatest. I don't think this is the
Okay.
greatest non QB offensive season ever. But my reason being that I think I'm a sucker for running backs who go over 2,000 yards
Yeah.
every single time. I'm like, dude, to do that in the NFL, I mean, you are just taking over games. And there's been about how many? 11?
Jamal. I'm not Jamal. Yeah, Chris Johnson, Derrick Henry, Jamal Lewis is who I was thinking about. I think Terrell
O-
Davis did it one time
OJ,
in Denver. OJ. OJ got 2,000?
I believe so.
Kyle, research. Did OJ
Eric
Simpson have a
Dickerson.
2,000-yard season?
I
Earl
think it's
Campbell?
like I think it's like 8 or 9. I think it's like 8 or 9 2,000 yard
Did
seasons.
Walter Payton ever have a 2,000-yard season? It's crazy that his career ended
Jim
with a torn
Brown.
ACL. Jim Brown.
So I'm telling you, man, I've always had a sore spot for 2,000 yard seasons in the NFL. So I think I think 2,000 yard seasons are probably I would rank them ahead of Cooper Cup seasons because I don't want to put one in particular. I just put them all in the same category. So I would take them before Cooper Cup. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Well, we said non QB, so I'll take that back. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with 2000. I was going to say those 50 touchdown years.
Thank you, Kyle. So Moss only played. Well, first of all, OJ Simpson had 2,000 in 1973, which is in 14 games, which is absolutely absurd.
I mean, that guy
And
was the juice was loose, as
the
they say.
juice was, and he was wielding knives later. Anyway, Moss
Oh
only played
my
4 games with Gronk and
goodness. Yo,
Hernandez.
speaking of the Super Bowl, there's one more thing that happened outside of an incredible football game. There's a Super Bowl halftime show that featured
Mhm.
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and a surprise performance by 50 Cent. So I ask you this question and this question only. Was that Super Bowl halftime show one of the 2 best Super Bowl halftime shows ever?
No, Michael Jackson and Prince.
Damn.
Those are the
No,
two.
no hesitation. People, y'all saw this
No,
no hesitation. No hesitation.
no, Prince in Minnesota. Hate Jesus, and then Michael Jackson. Bruno Mars was good. Like, I put the Super Bowl in the same category as the Bruno Mars Super Bowl because that was a great performance too. I enjoyed. Actually, you know, my wife and I talked about this. She was talking about people forget how good the Maroon 5 halftime show was. And even though Lady Gaga jumped from the top of the Texans Stadium, like, that was a good show. And then you have Beyonce. Then you have
Hey,
Beyonce.
Can you pause real quick? Yo, do you remember Lady Gaga's leap of faith of fam? It didn't look real. It was like a
Dog, it really did look fake, but she jumped from the top rope. But I really like this.
Oh,
You
man.
and I had expressed our concerns about Eminem being in this show and how we felt like he should have been the first performer and then get him the hell off stage. Like we got just enough. Like,
Yo,
that's
no. Let me ask you this: when Eminem was performing, did you make your plate?
no, but I text you, get this whack ass dude off my screen. Like, if I have to hear Mom Spaghetti one more time, dog,
Oh my!
You can
Yo,
eat
when I
mine for
tell
more than
you
10
I
years.
started making my plate immediately, I said, man, let me get a slice of the pizza, some wings, get a few fries. Man, soon as his set came on. Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is in my top two.
Okay.
This is in my top two. I got this and I got Mike because Mike is the greatest of all time. Prince is up there as well. It's in my top five. But I think this is one of the two best. I think when you think of all the legends that were on stage, the hits they were performing, what they meant, to the culture, for the culture. It was in LA. You had Snoopy, and Snoopy was very on brand. If you're reading between the lines, I don't know if anyone saw the headlines, but that's very on brand for Snoop. You had Mary J. Blige looking like Mary J. Blige. Kendrick came out and did a really good performance. As my man Kyle said in the chat, we got to look at what happened. I know we don't want to be prisoners of the moment, but you got to call a spade when you see it, and I like that one. I like that one a lot. So I'm putting this in my top two. This one and Michael Jackson, and we also can't forget when SpongeBob performed at the Super Bowl as well.
Oh yeah, he did for the kids. Oh god. Oh, we forget about the Janet Jackson joint. That's number one.
We can't forget about Beyonce either. A lot of people going,
Yeah, the Beehive will be Beyonce had a great show. Everybody. Two things about the halftime show. Like when Mary J did No More Drama, I was like, "Girl, this is the Super Bowl. We here to have fun. We're not here to listen to the
nah,
guy."
she got to talk to the ladies that was in the crowd that got drug out by their man, and she not really interested in the game.
Yeah, she was getting ready for
He too
Valentine's
busy
Day.
getting his
Like,
bets off. He trying to make
I was
sure
like,
he's trying to get his bets off. Yeah, you see Drake. He had the inside information on Odell.
Drake. He gonna be a sports insider. And my last thing was, and the internet has made fun of it enough, but they really let 50 walk out there in that tank top.
Nah. It was a throwback because he had the tank top on the original video, and I believe he was upside down too. So they was trying to
He
recreate
was
that.
upside down, shirtless in the original video,
Man, let
but
me tell you
he
something.
does not have real friends. Like, I,
Yeah,
I wonder if someone's like, "A dog, like that shirt isn't fitting the way you think it fits," and he probably was like,
man,
"Nah, I'm good," because he came
man,
back on stage and he was wearing an outfit that fit and was appropriate.
man. That outfit. I mean, that tank top was choking my man 50 for a little bit. But
Yeah,
other than that, he had the big ice on. He had that like kind of slapping him in the face and the chin
yeah,
as
he
he was
did.
hanging upside down. Pause. So. uh
Shout out to
Shout out
Snoop.
50 though. He did perform the bangers. He did perform the
He
classics.
did.
So that's why it's
Shout out
top
to
two for
Snoop.
me.
Say what? My
That's
bad.
why it's top two. They performed all the hits that all like even the casual fan would know.
Yeah.
Go shorty. It's your birthday. Come on, man. If you've ever been to club on a Saturday night, you've heard that because it's been somebody's birthday. So if you don't know the first about 6 to 8 bars of that in the club,
You too young for me.
I don't even need to be in the vicinity. You need to go home.
You need to go. That's the test.
You need to go home.
Shout out to Snoop Dogg for throwing gang signs in front of America, and shout out to Dr. Dre for dropping
Hey,
that "Still Not
it's
Loving the
very on
Police" song.
brand for not only Snoop but for LA. Man, shout out LA. I don't want no problems. I don't want no smoke.
Nah,
Anyone
dog.
listening in LA. I love LA. I love LA. Speaking of LA, not in the NFL and the NBA, it's Hollywood because per usual, it's drama in the NBA. It's a
Yes.
movie. This time we go to Philly and we go to New York City. The big trade of last weekend, James Harden and Paul Millsap for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and some draft picks. Who won this trade, Danny?
First of all, shout out to the Facebook user who wants to know what we think, because I have a lot on. I've gone back and forth, and it's broken down for me into two phases. Short term, the Sixers won. Long term, I think the Nets got the better of the deal because you get 2 first-round picks. You get Ben Simmons, who's under contract for a few years. He fits in perfectly with the Nets. I think this year they can still contend for a title, but Ben hasn't played all year. Like they need to build that chemistry. You still got Kevin Durant. I think next year, hopefully over the summer, if you're Kyrie, the vaccine mandate gets lifted in New York. So next fall, you come in with
It
Ben
might get
Simmons,
lifted sooner.
which would be even better, right? But they still don't have that chemistry, right? Like so next fall, you'd hope to have a Ben Simmons who plays the in third of this season, a Kyrie who's not restricted by vaccine mandates, and a healthy Kevin Durant, a healthy Joe Harris, a healthy Patty Mills, a healthy Andre Drummond's healthy, and you still have Seth Curry coming off the bench. That is an absolute lethal lineup. But right now, this year, it's the Sixers because you got James Harden who seems to be healthy and motivated. I need to get on that James Harden weight loss plan because I swear, he looked huge in Brooklyn. He get to Philly, snap, he got that Sherman clump.
He's wearing bodysuits. Relax on my man.
Okay, is that what it is? All right.
Yeah,
And
he's wearing
then like we've talked about on this show that the Sixers were wasting like an MVP year from Embiid, and they pulled the trigger and they did something and they matched him with another MVP. So you still got Maxey, you still got Thibault, who are elite defenders. Like you can win a championship this year. Like what threat is in the East right now? Like you got a Brooklyn team that's hobbled. The Bucks are somewhere. Like I still think the Bucks are a threat, but the Bucks aren't as good as they were last year. Like they're not much of a threat. They're not as big as a threat as they are this year.
I don't
You
know. The
really
Milwaukee Bucks healthy are a dangerous team, man. They're a
I'm
dangerous
not
team.
saying they're not. I'm just saying that's probably your biggest competition. Are you going to pick the Bulls over this Sixers team? I'm not. Are you going to pick the Heat over this Sixers team? I'm not going to pick. I mean, like the Sixers, like they need to come out of the East. Like the bare minimum is the Eastern Conference Finals, but they need to come out of the East this year or next year, and they need to win the championship these next 2 years, or this trade will be for naught because James Harden at 200 plus million for 5 years, I don't want to see 37-year-old James Harden in Philadelphia.
It won't be there. He's. I mean, given his last destination, I give him about an average team span of about 3 years, 3 4 years. In my opinion, the team that won this trade was the Brooklyn Nets. Honestly, I think when you look at some of the deficiencies Brooklyn had, they needed some size on the defensive end. They needed a little bit more shooting around Kevin Durant and Kyrie, and I think they needed a little bit better defense. And so I think when you look at the pieces that they got, this really fits a lot of what they're doing, and they can continue to build, with some of these draft picks for maybe things that, maybe some deficiencies they have going into next year. But I think this year, and when you think of, Andre Drummond provide his length and ability to rebound, I think when you look at Seth Curry, I mean, he's having an incredible year shooting the ball, particularly from 3-point range. Ben Simmons, obviously, yeah, he's not in game shape, but Ben Simmons is a great defender when healthy. So I don't think it would take him too long to be in game shape, and it wouldn't surprise me if, by the end of this month, he's already looking like a really good defender again once he kind of gets his legs under him. So I think if you're Philly, you gave up a lot to get James Harden essentially, and then a rental Paul Millsap, and then you really don't know. In terms of James Harden, and James Harden's, obviously an all-time great. So if he's healthy, obviously I think this puts you in a place to maybe contend for a championship. But any lingering injuries, I mean, you're going to be putting Joel out there, without some of his shooters that he needs.
Quick question. Do you think that this Sixers team as assembled could beat the Suns in the finals? Because I feel like that's going to be the matchup.
Nah, let me tell you something. The Suns are hard to beat, yo. They're deep at every position.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'd still pick the Sixers. Like I just see
I think
Joel.
this is your extended Eagles love showing and sprinkling its way
Well,
into Sixers
well,
territory. I think when
hear
you
me
look
out.
at what the Sixers, I mean, what the Suns have, I'm talking about front court and back court depth. They got length, they got size, they got shooting. I mean, they give. I would take the Suns about 6 games.
Hear me out though. I think Joel Embiid is the best big man in the game.
I do.
And I think DeAndre Ayton can do nothing with that. I have Thibault and Maxey, two elite defenders to throw on Booker and Chris Paul. And then I have James Harden.
But you can't. You can't put Thibault on both, and Book is going to get his, and Chris Paul's still going to find the mismatch somewhere. Let me tell you something. I like the
Hey man,
Celtics.
if I lose because Bridges and Jay Crowder just hit a bunch of threes, and I can live with that.
Okay,
I can live with that.
but who do you think they have guarding James Harden?
Doesn't matter.
Okay,
Was it Jay Crowder going to guard James Harden?
Michael Bridges, very versatile defender too.
He is. I mean, like the Suns could give James Harden a bunch of looks, but that offense needs to run through Embiid.
Okay.
Like and I see. I forgot about Tobias Harris. He can go off. He can give me 20 a night.
Yeah, Tobias Harris is like if Tobias Harris is cooking, then I really like what you're going because Tobias Harris, when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off. But he's always out there. He's always playing. He's always giving you good energy. He's always giving you good minutes. So I mean, it's not to say that I don't think the Sixers are serious contenders. I'm just saying we'll see. We'll see.
Last question: are the Sixers the favorite to come out the East?
No.
You still got Brooklyn?
I got Milwaukee and I got Brooklyn.
Okay.
I got Milwaukee and I got Brooklyn. I think Miami could be a sleeper. It could be a sleeper pick. I think if the Celtics continue playing the way they're playing, they could be a dangerous team for someone too.
Gotcha.
So, what about you?
Yes. And that is definitely.
You're really drinking the Sixers Kool-Aid right now.
James Harden is one of the best scorers we've ever seen when happy and when engaged.
James Harden.
And he seems to be happy and engaged. And the strip club is 3 miles from Wells Fargo.
Let's stick there because I brought up strip clubs and brought up James Harden. So, do you think how James Harden left Brooklyn, and if you also think about how James Harden left Houston, do you think these couple of incidents have put a strain on James Harden's reputation, just based off his incidents? Just when you watch the All-Star game, obviously you see a little bit of spice with KD and picking James Harden. So obviously, I think players may feel away or have some thoughts about James. So, what do you think?
Yeah, he definitely has a reputation about him, but if he wins a championship, that goes away. Right. If he wins a championship, especially in Philadelphia, the narrative goes from him being a bad teammate to him controlling his destiny.
But what's the difference between the thing about that is the media can flip who they want to use those two headlines for.
Mm-hmm. But if he wins a title, it doesn't matter because that's what it's about. That's what rings culture has done for us. Winning forgives everything. So if he wins a championship in Philadelphia, who cares?
What about the people out here who watch real hoops and understand that sometimes you see someone, even if you love them as a player, kind of go out there and kind of quit on the team when they see things aren't maybe necessarily going the way they thought it would be going?
I mean, some people think LeBron quit on Cleveland in Boston Game 6, but LeBron's won 4 rings since then. Who talks about that?
Touche. That's a good point. But that would kind of more so apply if James was doing this in Houston. This is his second stop.
Well, let me put it like this. Some people have accused Kawhi Leonard of quitting. They've accused him of quitting in San Antonio. And they've accused, I don't know if he got many accusals in Toronto for quitting. Kyle, maybe you can chime in since you're a Raptors fan. By the way.
Oh, you talking about with the whole quad injury towards the end of his time in San Antonio? Oh, man. Yeah, because that was tough because what was the line between injury management and not actually being injured? I remember that one now.
But he won a ring in Toronto, so who cares? Like, we don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, but he pretty much already had a ring before he did all that, though, which kind of makes it different.
That's true.
He was Super Bowl. I mean, he was Finals MVP that year as well. So I'm guessing you don't think then that the addition of Ben Simmons to the Nets makes the Nets championship contenders.
It does, but I still think like Ben hasn't played organized professional basketball since last summer. That is a very long time.
Yeah, but he's still been hooping.
Yeah, but there's a difference between like you're an athlete. There's a difference between competition shape and being in shape. Like there
Yeah.
are two different animals.
But you got to imagine just the way I think Ben is. He's young. I think he's got a lot to prove. I think he's very motivated. It wouldn't. I'm telling you, it wouldn't surprise me if he's in shape way sooner than later. For being honest.
And then I think that again, there's the chemistry thing, right? Kyrie is only playing away games. KD's still hurt, so we need to get KD back after the All Star break. We can only play with Kyrie on the road. Like that's a really tall order to build chemistry to go into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Embiid and Harden are playing with each other every night. Pause.
I think Sean Marks, who I believe is the general manager for the Nets, I think he need to call his owner, and his owner need to make a call up to the New York State Board or whatever, New York CDC, and just hit him with some AO.
Well, see now the
Lift
owner.
that mandate.
Well, the owner's kind of made it like political, right? Like he's kind of made it personal because I feel like if the playoffs started today and I'm the owner of the Nets and I've spent all this money, dog, I'll pay whatever fine New York rolls out there to make sure Kyrie's in the playoffs. But the owner has been so pro-vaccine and Kyrie has been so anti-vaccine. I don't think I don't think the owner's going to budge to allow Kyrie to
Well,
play in New York.
that's what the joy of wanting to win a championship will do. Let them start seeing some momentum, especially once Benham comes back. I think you'll see some jostling
I
for
think so
some
too.
changing of mandates. Um,
Kyle
all right,
said quitting from Kawhi from their perspective.
all right. So, he also said we would have loved if Leonard would have stayed, but most Raptors fans were lucky how lucky they were to have one season with such a great player.
I
Hey, that's how you
appreciate
got to look
you.
at it. That's how you got to look at the 1 year rental deals.
Yep.
That's how you got to look at it. Speaking of which, if you're listening and you needed a bet for today, I hope you took Joel Embiid double double plus Sixers money line. If you're on FanDuel, maybe you're able to get it as a player performance double. That was my bet of the day. So hope you took it. We'll see. We already talked about Macy's letting down the culture. Yo, I think either it might be going on right now or it might be tomorrow, but I think Anthony Hamilton and Music Soul Child are
Oh,
doing
that's
a verse.
tonight.
That's tonight. What time?
Doesn't matter. It's not free.
It's not free.
Yeah, they're starting to charge now. So they have the so
It's
you
back
can
on
there's a
Thriller.
yeah, so there's a 14-day free trial for verses, and then it's called Versus TV, and they're gonna make people start paying for these verses. And verses had to
Okay.
just run while they did because ain't nobody paying
Okay.
for that.
Okay. So I guess I'll be right back here watching the Sixers and the Celtics. Yo, I get it because when you have a brand like that, you want to make money, but you got to stick to the core. I don't like that.
I don't know. I didn't appreciate when Swiss Beats bought it, right? Because the genesis of verses was just two people on IG Live playing their hits, drinking, smoking weed, and just enjoying each other's company. Now it's a concert and it's a competition and now it's a show.
You
And it's
got to give it a little something for the fans, so that way you can get some ad dollars behind it to make it a little bit more profitable. But I don't like the paid wall portion of it. I think you should. It was built for something in the community, in the culture during the pandemic, so it was supposed to connect you virtually, and the paywall. I don't like it. I don't like
like
it.
there's something special about watching T-Pain and Lil Jon just playing hits and talking about times they hung out together. Like that was a dope versus.
But you can still do that in the verses. They be stopping between records.
Well, now it's a competition. Like now there has to be a clear winner. In the
Well,
beginning, it
now
was
I think they want to frame it as more like as a celebration of both people's catalogs, so that way they can have them talking more.
Jeezy and Gucci did not.
Nah.
Cam and Jadakiss did not.
Well, okay. Jeezy and Gucci don't like each other. Cam and Jadakiss, that was just New York talking to New York.
That's fair.
That's New York talking to New York. You know what else is ridiculous? Art Briles is being considered for a coordinator job. What the hell?
Couple things. One, he's being offered an offensive coordinator job with Hugh Jackson at Grambling, which is an HBCU. What? During the Black
You,
History Month?
that's not very P of you.
Not at all. The second thing, for those of you who don't know, Art Browse used to be the head coach of Baylor, and Art Browse is accused of covering up a lot of sexual assaults during his time at Baylor's. So the fact that not only is he getting a second chance, like if you have chance, like I actually wrote about this a couple years ago. If you have a chance, go read some of those sexual assaults that Art Browse allegedly knew of and helped to cover up, and then come back to me. Like that man is accused of some heinous stuff, and the fact that he's up
Ridiculous.
for a coordinator job at HBCU, Hugh Jackson, you wilding right now, fam.
You bugging, B. You bugging, Hugh. You should have did that bullshit in March. At least we would have gave you
Yeah.
some a little bit of flexibility. It gave you some flexibility. You doing that shit in February during our month. We supposed to be
Ooh.
together. Yo, since we putting people in a little bit of a pack right now. Have you
Mhm.
seen the world collectively put Eli Apple in a pack and get him out of here? He gave up the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. Granted, it was to Cooper Kupp. But boy, have so many people just got in and have been clowning Eli Apple to the point where I had to go back and ask myself, damn, what did he do to make them boys so mad?
Yo, I don't like if Eli Apple or if Twitter and Eli Apple were around during slavery, slavery would have ended because everyone would have just been taking their time and laughing at him. Like that, he would have ended slavery. Like dead ass serious.
No,
The whole
you
internet
did
got to,
not.
the whole
Nah,
internet got you
nah,
together
no,
and was
you
like,
didn't.
look at like I can't imagine Matt Stafford going to the line and like, no. This can't be real.
You saying Matt Stafford saw Eli Apple, Cooper Cup one-on-one and said, "This is barbecue chicken. I'm getting
This
this
it.
joker." I'm
He
boy. I bet he was licking at the chop spot. He saw Eli Apple, Cooper Cup one-on-one. He said, "Oh, y'all done fucked up now."
he said, I'm about to be a Super Bowl champion. Like he probably saw the defensive
No, y'all
coordinator
done
run down the
fucked up
sideline,
now.
calling timeout, and was like, "Nope, I'm gonna get this snap off for the ref. See that? I
Oh
need this."
goodness. Eli Apple was being shamed by the LA community, the New Orleans community, the wide receiver community, the cornerback community, fan bases. I mean, like, yo,
Kansas
Eli
City.
Apple, Kansas. Yo, nah. Miko Hardman and Tyreek Hill, y'all are funny. Y'all are
Oh,
funny. Y'all are funny. Eli
Hill said,
Apple,
"Keep
dog,
my
it's gonna
name
be
out
all
your
right,
mouth,
man.
boy."
Just got to come back stronger next year. Yeah,
No,
pray
he
for our
not.
players, bro.
This might be. You saw his face after he gave up that touchdown to Cooper Cup. That looked like a man who knew that was his last play on the NFL field.
Nah, chill out. Chill out. Speaking of the NFL, the NFL MVP was announced.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers has won his fourth
For them
MVP, which
things.
putting him, I believe, second all time in MVP awards.
Like I think Cooper Cup should have won, but I'm not mad Aaron Rodgers won. This isn't like highway robbery.
Well, I mean, we didn't make it anywhere close to the Super Bowl. So, hey, Rodgers, congrats. GOAT. Love you. Hope you come back one more year, but we'll be
He
waiting.
will.
But
There,
congrats.
he's not
Yo,
going to the AFC.
have you been seeing these reports that's been coming out about this whole situation from both sides? Like, I saw reports of what Packers are willing to do to keep him on board, how they want to make him happy, how they'd be willing to make him the highest paid quarterback in the league. So I've seen reports of that, which I assume is the team wanting to seed out the information of what they're probably offering him right now. But I also saw right before I got on here that someone reported that the Denver Broncos head coach, who was the Packers OC, he's been pushing for the Aaron Rodgers trade. So what I think is, I think it's a lot of media games being played right now. I honestly don't know which way he's going to go. I think he's leaving, but apparently there's a lot of people, within the organization, maybe even around the organization, that feels Aaron Rodgers might be coming back. So
That'd be cool.
I don't know, man. That
I'm
one,
not saying one way or the other. I
I,
think I think he should go to Denver, but I don't know if he wants to go to the AFC, let alone the AFC West.
That's a spooky situation to be walking in. I'll tell you what. Speaking of Western divisions, let's go to the NFC
Mhm.
West.
Yeah, let's do it.
Did you see Russell Wilson at the
Hmm.
accept his award and before the Super Bowl when he was talking about Andrew Whitworth? Now I'm not trying to spread no rumors, never. But he looked like a man who's ready to get up out of Seattle. What you
Listen,
think?
I've been pushing this agenda for a long time.
Oh my gosh. No way you're about to bring this up to the Eagles.
Russell Wilson will be a Philadelphia Eagle. The NFC is so wide. Like you have Aaron Rodgers, and that's it. What other elite quarterback is in the NFC? Where? Matt Stafford in LA. Okay. But he like Aaron Rodgers is like the
Matt
bar.
Stafford. Yo, give my man Dak Prescott
No.
some
The
uh,
Cowboys will be frauds
give
until
my
proven
man Dak
otherwise.
Prescott some love, dog.
Is Dak Prescott elite? Would you take Dak Prescott over Russell Wilson?
What about Kirk
All
Cousins?
right,
What
dog. Ladies and
what
gentlemen,
about
thank you for joining us tonight. D out here talking. D out here talking crazy. Like in all
Yo, come
seriousness,
on.
though,
Okay.
tell me Russell Wilson in Philadelphia does not make the Eagles Super Bowl contenders.
I think he would look better as a New York Giant.
No. What is in it? So
You guys
people keep
got
saying that.
Jalen Hurts.
What is in New York? You got
Not
Saquon who probably wants to get out of there. Evan Ingram's a free agent. You got Kadarius Toney. Okay, Sterling
you got to build
Shepard.
it from somewhere.
Like what your defense? Their defense is terrible. Like what is so attractive about New York other than it's the world's largest media market?
You got to build it from somewhere, my man.
When you can go to Philadelphia, you got Devontae Smith, you
See,
got
it's hard for
Dallas
me to
Goddard,
buy into the
Miles Sanders.
Philadelphia. It's hard for me to buy into the Philadelphia punch because y'all got Jalen Hurts. So now y'all are the stingy trying to be the greedy when y'all really need to build your team around what you got because what you got is good enough to win if you guys develop and do what you're
No.
supposed to do with your offense.
The Rams have taught us that if you have an opportunity to get a quarterback that is elite or close to elite, you jump on that opportunity.
Y'all don't have the pieces that the Rams do,
Dog, we have
nor
3 first round picks. What is
no. I mean, y'all don't have the team built
oh,
like the Rams do.
listen. Get an elite quarterback, worry about the rest later.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of all this football talk, what are your early Super Bowl predictions, like matchups for next year?
So when you type this question, it took me a long time to get to this solution, but I can say with complete confidence that right now, the Green Bay Packers versus the Buffalo Bills.
Oh no, don't do this.
That's where I'm at. Green Bay versus Buffalo in Arizona.
I told myself when I saw this question and after hearing your answer that I wouldn't even give myself hope because that's the problem with this team. Is hope.
Tom Brady is gone.
I don't want hope.
Okay.
So here's my matchup.
You
The
about to say something
Baltimore
crazy.
Ravens.
Okay.
The Baltimore Ravens versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. We driving this Cowboys hype train early. All right. Go ahead. Y'all
Oh
do it.
yeah.
Do what y'all want
That's
to
who
do.
I'm come on, gotta put some hope into something. If I'm gonna put some hope into something, I'm gonna put my hopes in the Dallas Cowboys. Yo, can you imagine the Dallas Cowboys having a grand season, getting to the Super Bowl? And I'm talking their fans are there, their fans are loud. It's in Glendale, so they'll make the trip to Arizona. Their fans are loud and they go up there and stink it up in the Super Bowl. Can you imagine the fan base? Yo, there might be some fights in that Super Bowl.
Listen, if they make it to the Super Bowl, that's the most success they've had since you and I had. Well, since you've been alive, not since I've been alive.
Come on. I think it'd be funny to see the Cowboy. Like if the Cowboys went and won a Super Bowl, I'd be like, ugh. But if they went to the Super Bowl and lost, man, You want to talk about a salty and funny ass fan base? At least when Alabama fans lost, they could blame it on Jameson Williams getting hurt. But like a healthy Cowboys team just goes to Super Bowl and stinks up the joint. I mean, the jokes gonna write themselves.
You can fall for this cowboy if you want to. I will not. They are who they've been for the past 25 years of my life.
Some say they've been one play away.
Okay.
Yo, let the people know where they can find you, man. Let's get up out of here, man.
They can find me on the Twitter machine at MadAds14. That's all I got to you really killed my vibe with that Cowboys foolishness.
Come on, man. Yo, come on. You don't think it'd be a smidge funny?
No.
A smidge funny.
Not at all. Those arrogant sons of guns, no.
So what would you rather the Eagles then make the Super Bowl and then completely break your heart?
Yes. But
it wouldn't be as funny though.
If Russell Wilson becomes an Eagle, they are the third best team in the NFC behind the Packers and the Rams.
Okay, well,
Can you imagine Devontae Smith with an elite passer?
We don't have to. He has one in Jalen Hurts. We don't have to worry about him.
Jalen is not an elite passer, not yet.
Listen,
here's the thing about Jalen. Like, I don't have anything against Jalen. Like, if we go with Jalen as the starter next year, I'm perfectly okay. But if I have my chance to get my hands on a top 5 quarterback, then I'm going to do it. I don't care who I have.
You know, the Seahawks have to trade him, and they don't want to do that, right?
They'll trade him for 3 first-round picks. Hey, you can start your rebuild right now. You'll probably get the quarterback you want, and if you don't, if the quarterback you want you feel is going to get taken higher in the draft, you now have the draft capital to go get your guy. You want Kenny Pickett? All right, you got 3 first-round picks, and you got some of your own picks next year. You don't have any picks. You gave them off with Jamal Adams. Restock the cupboard, and then you can jump up and get your guy. You want Malik Willis? All right, here's 3 first-round picks. Go get him if he doesn't fall to you. You can start your rebuild right now, Pete Carroll. Give me Russell Wilson.
It sounds good. I think it's going to take a little bit more than Russell Wilson to make you guys give a 3 first-rounders, though.
Hey, if we can get Russ for 2 first-rounders, Howie to go. Better yet, Howie say, look, dog, I'll jump up for you, draft your guy, and then you give me Russ for your guy.
I don't even know if Howie Long is as optimistic about all these trades as you are. So that makes you a really good Eagles fan, because you see the benefit for you, but not the thought of the other team has to agree to said trade. And I don't think they're really.
I just gave you the reason why the Seahawks should do it. You can start your rebuild right now, because the roster you have right now isn't going anywhere.
That you have with the
what
quarterback.
Pieces do the Seahawks have? Like, that roster's terrible.
Start the rebuild.
Start the rebuild with 3 first-round picks this year. You can rebuild that defense. You can get your quarterback. You can get an offensive weapon for that quarterback. You can get an elite edge rusher. You can get an elite offensive lineman. You can do whatever you want, Pete Carroll. We got that in Philly. We got a great offensive line. We got running backs. We got wide receivers. We got tight ends. Just need a passer.
Well, I guess we'll see.
We'll see. Take us home.
Hey, people, make sure y'all follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram. That's at speakonit_pod. That's SPEAKONIT_pod. Make sure you follow your boy at Losty Mix on Instagram, and follow Danny at MyDads14 on the Twitter machine. People, as always, it's episode 49 of Speak On It. Next week, it'll be the big 5-0, 50 of them things, 50 of them episodes. So really appreciate all the love and support. Make sure y'all leaving love and support in the comments as well. We love hearing from y'all. Shout out to our guy, Kyle. As usual, you know it's all love, man. Hey, celebration in Philly. We keeping it easy. Speak On It, episode 49. We out.
Peace.